From the streets of Jamaica to the world of cricket, Chris Gayle's story has been nothing short of inspiring. So, how did a young man from Jamaica become one of the greatest 20 batsmen in the history of cricket?
I want to come and have an interview with you as well. That's the reason why I'm here. So, just to see your eyes for the first time. It's nice. So, hopefully win this game and we can have a drink after. Don't blush, baby.
Chris Gayle, one of the most celebrated cricketers in cricket history, not only rewrote history, but also set world records that many will follow. Unfortunately, as beautiful as his career was, he had a little stain of controversies. In a world of fame and popularity, staying at the top and maintaining your spot meant no scandals and definitely no controversies. However, for Chris, the reverse seemed to be the case. What trouble did Chris get himself into, and did it ruin him? Join us as we dive into Chris Gayle's net worth, career, love life, and philanthropy. Chris Gayle wasn't only the boss on the cricket field, he was the boss of his purse as well. As his fame grew, so did his net worth. According to records, Chris Gayle is one of the most prominent cricketers that the West Indies has ever produced. Also, he is reportedly one of the richest cricketers in his country. As of 2024, records reveal that Chris had a net worth of about $45 million. Also, the Economic Times shared that he is the 8th richest cricketer in the world. Whoa, now that's huge, right? You might be wondering how he was able to amass such a substantial amount of wealth. A breakdown of his net worth reveals that Chris Gayle can increase his wealth thanks to his business ventures, brand endorsements, and commentary commitments. Being one of the best cricketers, he was exposed to numerous opportunities which greatly benefited him. His brand value has reportedly increased by 42% over the past few years alone. Additionally, his participation in franchise cricket globally has earned him a significant amount. However, the IPL holds the largest stake in his revenue, with him earning more than $6 million from his IPL career. In 5 years, his assets have increased to $20 million. Also, his annual salary is approximately $3 million. Chris also earns money from his endorsements. According to the records, he endorses numerous brands, including Attitude.com and Spartan Sports. Additionally, as part of his cross-endorsement deals with the West Indies Cricket Board, Chris was able to endorse Sandals Resorts. Also, he endorses brands like Geo and Royal Stag as part of his cross-endorsement deals with his IPL franchise, Kings XI Punjab. Through his endorsements, he has earned approximately $10 million. Being the astute individual that he is, Chris made sure to invest with some friends. As of now, there are records that he invested an undisclosed amount of money in Iona Entertainment. Iona Entertainment is a virtual gambling platform that provides one-stop entertainment to Indian fans through virtual gaming. Also, he invested in an Indian app startup called Flip AR, which is an augmented reality service-based startup. Other reports indicate that Chris owns real estate properties, which further increase his net worth. Now, that's one smart cricketer. Christopher Henry Gayle O.D., born on 21 September 1979, is a Jamaican cricketer who played international cricket for the West Indies from 1999 to 2021. One secret that many people are unaware of is that Chris didn't have it all that easy. He had to fight his way to the top. He was born into a family with little to sustain them, but he was determined to succeed. His father, Dudley Gayle, was a police officer, while his mother, Hazel, sold peanuts and snacks for a living. What his parents lacked in wealth, they made up for with their support and love. They supported his dreams and ambitions. Records reveal that Chris was very close to his mother. In 2009, he returned home from an international tour to care for his mother. Later, on November the 7th of 2018, she breathed her last, and Chris was right beside her. Her demise broke him, and he will never forget her for the rest of his life. His father, despite being a policeman, supported his son in everything. In one of his tweets, Chris once wrote that his father was his #1 fan. With his family's support and help, he started his cricket career. Starting as a young cricketer, he joined the Lucas Cricket Club in Kingston, Jamaica. In later years, Chris shared his experience at the club, saying, "If it was not for Lucas, I don't know where I would be today." maybe on the streets. He made sure to add his quota to the club, and later, Lucas Cricket Club's nursery was named in honor of Chris. Chris's journey in the cricket world was very progressive. In 2009, he was made captain of the West Indies side in the ICC 2020 World Cup. This happened right after he was criticized for playing in the IPL 2008 and missing an international series a few months before. There were rumors that Chris might have missed the series due to family reasons. However, when he got the opportunity to become the captain, he made sure he made a great impression. He was able to achieve that when he scored a quick-fire 88 in the opening game of the tournament and helped the West Indies beat the mighty Australians. However, they lost in the semifinals to Sri Lanka, but everyone remembered Chris. Gradually, Chris's fame increased, and he decided to launch into the international world of cricket. When Chris began his international career, things started out slow for him, and he felt like he wouldn't go far or make history. However, in 2002, his story changed. At the end of that year, he played against India and made history. What happened? In his match against India, he scored over 1,000 runs in a calendar year, along with Vivian Richards and Brian Lara. Additionally, he became one of only 6 players in one-day international history to have 3 or more scores of 150. Things were going smoothly for him until later, in 2005, when Chris was dropped for the first test against South Africa, along with 6 other players, following a dispute over sponsorship issues. It became a mess and nearly affected Chris's career. He returned for the second test, but he had a poor series until the 4th test, where he made a match-saving 317. It was also his first ever triple century against South Africa, and until Mahia Jawardene made 374, it was the highest score in Test cricket. As the series continued, Chris had to leave the field after complaining of dizziness. His health issues became a thing of concern when, in subsequent series against Australia, he again complained of dizziness and shortness of breath during his innings. Chris left the field for a time and was sent to the hospital after the match. When he got there, he was diagnosed with a congenital heart defect causing a cardiac dysrhythmia. He had to put a stop to all of his matches and undergo heart surgery to correct the defect. It was a success, and after this, he was back on the field. According to records, Chris became the 4th West Indian to carry his bat in a test innings. Later, in August of 2005, he joined Worcester for the rest of the English season. During the season, he played 8 matches. He made 2 half-centuries in 3 first-class matches and 2 half-centuries in 5 one-day matches. Also, Chris won 1 Man of the Match award in the One-Day National League. It was a great session for him. Unfortunately, Worcestershire were regulated after Chris made 1 in the final match against Lancashire. Chris was named player of the 2006 Champions Trophy. There, the West Indies nearly defended the title they had won in 2004 after being defeated by Australia in the final. Chris scored 3 centuries and totaled 474 runs, 150 more than any other batsman. He also took 8 wickets in as many matches as possible. He, like the rest of the West Indies team, participated in the 2007 World Cup. He recorded a series of low scores, the one exception being a blistering 79 off 58 balls against England in the West Indies final match. In international 2020 cricket, Chris made his first century, and he scored 117 against South Africa in the first match of the 2007 World 2020. The innings he had during the game made him the first batsman to score a century in each of international cricket's 3 formats. The match stood alone as the record score in a 2020 until the 19th of February of 2012. In February, South Africa's Richard Levi scored 117 against New Zealand, a feat that was eventually surpassed by Brendan McCullum of New Zealand later that year. Also in the semi-final match of the 2009 World 2020 against Sri Lanka, Chris became the first international player to carry his bat through the entire innings. By 2008, he had become famous and was widely recognized. In April of 2008, he was purchased by the franchise Kolkata Knight Riders in the Indian Premier League player auction. Unfortunately, he missed the opening games due to a tour of Sri Lanka to the Caribbean. But when he finally joined the team, he was unable to play in the matches due to an injury he had sustained during the tour. His time with the Kolkata Knight Riders was cut short, and he left to join the West Indies team for a home series against Australia. In early 2009, he played in the second IPL competition. Then, he got himself in trouble when he arrived late for an away test series against England. He was rebuked. Additionally, his test series performance was poor, and the West Indies went on to lose both the test and ODI series. Later, in the first official match of the 2009 T20, he scored a match-winning 88. It was a surprise victory over Australia. Later, on December 17, 2009, Chris scored the then fifth fastest century in Test match history, reaching 100 in just 70 balls. His win included 9 fours and 6 sixes. He was dismissed 2 balls later for 102 runs. On the 16th of December of 2010, he ended up becoming the 4th cricketer to score 2 triple centuries in Test cricket after Donald Bradman, Brian Lara, and Birinder Sehwag. Later in 2018, Chris ended his List A career for Jamaica. He decided to go back home and play in a match against Barbados. He won the match, and on the 18th of February of 2019, he announced that he would retire from ODIs after the 2019 Cricket World Cup. Later in June of 2019, he reversed that decision. Chris went on to get more wins, and in April of 2019, he was named in the West Indies squad for the 2019 Cricket World Cup. The World Cup marked his 5th consecutive World Cup appearance. Then on May the 31st of 2019, he played in the West Indies opening match of the World Cup. In the game, Chris scored his 40th 6 in World Cup matches, the most by any batsman in World Cup history, surpassing A.B. de Villiers' record of 37. Additionally, during the Cricket World Cup, he scored his 1,000th run. On July the 1st of 2019, in the match against Sri Lanka, he became the most capped player for the West Indies in international cricket. 3 days later, in the West Indies' final match of the 2019 Cricket World Cup, Chris played against Afghanistan. In the game, he became the most capped player for the West Indies in the Cricket World Cup, playing in his 35th match. In the same match, he also equaled Brian Lara's record of playing in 299 ODIs for the West Indies. If all of these aren't termed successes, what is? Chris proved that through highs and lows, he remained consistent and focused on his dream. His achievements continue to increase. In his next game against India, he played his 300th ODI match. He was the only West Indian player to achieve that feat. Also, he broke the record for the most runs for the West Indies in ODIs, surpassing Brian Lara. Calling Chris a legend in the cricket world is an understatement. However, the legend decided to take a break. On the 6th of November of 2021, Chris played his last T20I match against Australia in the Sheikh Zayed Cricket Stadium. He decided to retire from cricket and announced his decision in front of his home crowd in Jamaica. This is the story of Chris Gayle's rise to the top, and now let's explore his luxuries. Considering the cricketer's net worth, many have been curious to get an inside look at how he lives. Is he luxurious or frugal? Chris Gayle has numerous luxuries, including mansions, cars, and multiple real estate properties. However, his home in Jamaica is worth exploring. Chris Gayle's mansion, located in Kingston, Jamaica, remains one of the most talked about topics in the celebrity world. His mansion is situated in a gated community, and the house offers both top-notch privacy and security for both Chris and his family. The house's exterior boasts a large modern design and a white facade. Additionally, the home is surrounded by lush greenery, which further enhances the serene atmosphere. A dive into the home's interior reveals nothing less than luxury. It's a perfect fit for a man of his status. The house is spacious and airy with high ceilings and large windows that let in plenty of natural light. Additionally, the interior is adorned with high-end furniture and fixtures, creating a luxurious and sophisticated ambiance. Additionally, the mansion boasts luxurious features, including a massive pool, a gym, and a home theater. Chris also designed the home to feature a large outdoor area where he could entertain his guests or relax with his family. That is the main aim. Although it reeks of wealth, the love and harmony within the family make the house even more beautiful.
How old are you today? 2.
It will gladden your heart to know that Chris Gayle, despite being a celebrity, prioritized his family. He had been in a long-term relationship with Natasha Berridge before marrying her on May the 31st of 2009. Natasha is a fashion designer and entrepreneur. She is from St. Kitts and Nevis. Additionally, she owns a company, Ultra Carnival, which manufactures and sells clothing inspired by Caribbean culture. Later, on April the 20th of 2016, the couple welcomed their first child, a daughter. They have spent many years in their marriage, but their love continues to just grow stronger, standing the test of time. When their daughter was born, Chris gladly announced her arrival on his Instagram page. One thing he made clear to his fans is his love for family. He would often post videos of himself and his daughter. At other times, he is seen in different videos playing with their daughter. He was having the best time of his life until he got himself into trouble. Chris Gayle has been embroiled in a web of controversies. Despite being everyone's beloved cricketer, behind the scenes he was in a lot of trouble. In 2005, Chris was involved in the dispute between the West Indies Cricket Board and many players over sponsorship issues. That year, the problem started because the players had personal sponsorship deals with cable and wireless, who used to sponsor West Indian cricket. However, since the West Indies had recently become sponsored by cable and wireless rivals Digicel, the West Indies Cricket Board demanded that the players drop their cable and wireless deals. When the players refused to back down, the West Indies Cricket Board dropped them for the first test against South Africa. Chris was frustrated and had to cut his deal with cable and wireless. After this, he rejoined the side for the second test. After that was sorted out, he got into another bit of trouble in early 2009 during the West Indies tour of England. During the tour, he commented that he no longer wanted to captain the West Indies due to the pressures involved. Also, he further shared that he wouldn't be so sad if Test cricket were superseded by 2020 cricket in the future. After his comments, both Viv Richards and Gary Sobers criticized him and many others. In an attempt to salvage his reputation, Chris later claimed that his statement had been taken out of context, according to Julian Hunt, president of the West Indies Cricket Board. In an interview with Mike Atherton after a West Indies defeat in their tour of England, Chris stated that he was not going to resign the captaincy. Also, in April of 2011, he went ahead to criticize the West Indies Cricket Board and coach Otis Gibson. For that reason, he was punished by not playing for the team for more than a year. Later, on April the 6th of 2013, Chris and the WICB reached an understanding that paved the way for the former West Indies captain to return to the national team. The bigger trouble happened on January the 4th of 2016, when Network 10 commentator Mel McLaughlin was interviewing Chris during the 2015-2016 Big Bash League season. In the interview, Chris had said, "I just wanted to have an interview with you as well. That's why I batted so well," followed by, "Your eyes are beautiful. Hopefully we can win this game and then we can have a drink after as well. Don't blush, baby." His statements irritated the Australian media, which criticized him. Also, former Australian Test captain Ian Chappell encouraged Cricket Australia to ban him from playing in Australia again. The issue went on for a long time, and along the way, female sports journalist Neroli Meadows stated that Chris had been acting that way for years. They shared that he did it to humiliate women. Chris, on the other hand, shared that the comments were intended to be a joke. Unfortunately for him, nobody was buying that story. The Melbourne Renegades sanctioned him with a $10,000 fine for inappropriate conduct. Later, on October the 30th of 2017, Chris Gayle won a defamation case against Fairfax Media after a jury found a series of articles published in 2016 which alleged that he exposed himself to a masseuse, which were untrue. He was awarded $300,000 in damages for defamation. Despite being a troublemaker, Chris had a kind heart. He spent a huge chunk of his resources and life helping others. In 2015, he established the Chris Gayle Academy to help disadvantaged children in Jamaica and the United Kingdom improve their lives and communities through involvement in sport. His plans turned out to be a great success. Gradually, the academy expanded and grew larger and larger. Also, the academy now facilitates the advancement of young cricketers' careers by providing access to quality coaches and playing opportunities abroad. Chris also founded other foundations and has helped many more people. Chris Gayle's story is proof that anyone can reach the top regardless of their background. His dedication, perseverance, and skills helped him maintain a seat at the top for a very long time. Having heard about his controversies, do you think he still deserves the respect and fame he does have? Let's hear from you in the comments. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.